Hello friends, in this tutorial we are going to learn fatigue analysis using ANSYS Workbench. So as we know that this fatigue can be a particularly dangerous form of failure because it occurs over time and it occurs at a stress level that are not only lower than ultimate tensile strength but they can be lower than yield strength. So therefore in design point of view we have to consider this fatigue is very essential parameter and we have to design the component according to it. So learning in the video is fatigue introduction, stress cycles, endurance limit and fatigue strength, low cycle fatigue and high cycle fatigue. Then we have to learn these fatigue like methods which are stress based method and strain based method or approaches. And last we are going to solve this plate with 3-hole example using ANSYS Workbench. So keep watching this video till the end. The first slide will explain some basic terms in fatigue. So cyclic loading produces stresses that are variable, repeated, alternating or fluctuating. So if the components submitted to cyclic loading, then it is going to develop stresses which are variable, repeated and fluctuating. And the failure occurs under condition of dynamic or fluctuating loading are called as fatigue. So this fatigue failure is because of the dynamic or fluctuation in the loading. And the fatigue accounts 90% of all the service failures due to mechanical causes. So whatever failures we see in the components which accounts the fatigue accounts 90% of all the service failures. And the component is subjected to a repetitive or fluctuation stresses. It fails at a much stress lower than the tensile or yield strength for a static loads. So here, so why we consider this failure is a very critical failure or dangerous failure, because the stress level in this case is very lower than the tensile or yield strength. Therefore we have to consider this fatigue while designing. And then this failure is a very catastrophic type of failure, or sudden ultimate fractures we can say, and it does not give any prior warning or in advance warning in the failure, and occurs at a point of stress concentration such as sharp corners or notch, or at a metallurgical stress concentration like an inclusion. So where there is a sharp corners or abrupt change in cross section or poor surface finish, or we have notches in the component, in this case in that place or point we have a stress concentration, and this stress concentration leads to a crack generation, initiation or propagation, and then the component is going to fail after the number of cycles. So this is a basic idea of fatigue this failure. Then we have stress cycles. Basically we have 3 type of stress cycles. The first is completely reverse stress cycle, second is repeated stress cycle, and third is irregular or random stress cycle. So here there are some terms like mean stress or stress amplitude. The mean stress is sigma m, which is given by maximum stress plus minimum stress by 2, and stress amplitude is given by maximum stress minus minimum stress by 2. So in the first case, that is completely reverse stress cycle, we have loading which is completely reverse, and the load are equal in magnitude but opposite in directions. So consider example of cantilever beam, and you are going to apply load in downward direction which is of 100 kN, and the same force which is applied in the upward direction having the magnitude is 100 kN. So we have the loading of equal magnitude but in opposite directions. So in the first case, that is completely reverse case, the mean stress is 0 because the maximum stress and minimum stress are equal in magnitude and opposite directions, that is also known as tensile stresses and compressive stresses. So here the mean stress is 0 and your stress amplitude which is equal to your maximum stress and minimum stress. Then second type of cycle, in this case your minimum stress is 0 and your mean stress value which is equal to your maximum stresses, right? And mean stress value and stress amplitude and maximum stress having the same values. And last one is irregular or random stress cycle. In this case, we don't have a particular stress values. They are random in nature, they are time dependent, and it is very difficult to predict the type of nature of the loading. So this is all about these stress cycles, and we generally have these cycles in the nature or components. So next, these two terms are very important, this fatigue analysis. So endurance limit. So here the fatigue or endurance limit of a material is defined as the maximum amplitude of completely reverse stress that a standard specimen can sustain for an unlimited number of cycles without fatigue failure. So here in this graph you will see this log 10 scale paper, and on the horizontal axis you will find stress cycles, and vertical axis you will find stress amplitude. And here this SE is nothing but your endurance limit, and the stress value, if less than this endurance limit, then your component is not going to fail, and it has a infinite number of cycles, right? That is nothing but your endurance limit value. And here you can see at when there is a endurance limit value over, the graph is a straight line, and life will be component for this endurance limit is infinite number of cycles. So this is your endurance limit. And here for structure steel, you can see the your endurance limit value is occur at the 10⁶ cycles. So this is a endurance limit value. Next is fatigue strength. So maximum value of completely reverse bending stress that a material can withstand without any failure for infinite number of cycles. So this endurance limit is for infinite number of cycles, and this fatigue strength is for finite number of cycles. And here these cycles below this 10⁶ is known as your finite number of cycles, and here the failure occurs in this region. The strength we can have here is fatigue strength above this endurance limit, and fatigue, your component is going to fail for this finite number of cycles. So next slide we are going to explain what is meant by low cycle fatigue and high cycle fatigue. So first is low cycle fatigue. So here in low cycle fatigue, the stress cycles are less than 1000. So whenever if you find a life having the stress cycles less than 1000, then it is known as low cycle fatigue. And in this case, this component going to experience both the deformation, that is elastic strain, as well as plastic strains. And sometimes the designer is going to ignore this fatigue effect, and he has to consider greater factor of safety. And sometimes we have to design the components based on the ultimate tensile strength or yield strength with a suitable factor of safety. So it is when we have a stress cycle less than 1000, and in this case the loading is or this type of application is having the lower high load applications. Therefore we have to sometimes we have to ignore this fatigue effect, and we have to consider greater factor of safety. But in case of higher cycle fatigue, whenever there is the stress cycles more than 1000 and this deformation is only of elastic nature, and the load conditions or load applications very small in this case, so this is known as high cycle fatigue. And this in this case the design of component is based on endurance limit stress, because for endurance limit we have infinite number of cycles life of a component. And there is another terms like SN curves, Soderberg lines, Gerber lines, or Goodman diagram are used in the design of such a components. So generally we consider this high cycle fatigue for the analysis, and we use these other terms to calculate the or design the components. Next is fatigue life methods. So we have different terms here like life, fatigue, and factor of safety. So by using the Ansible bench we can able to find this life in cycle, hour, or days. There are a number of options we have to find the life of the component. Then damage. So here damage is something that gives information about your component is going to fail or not. If the damage value is less than 1, then your component is not going to fail. If damage value is greater than 1, then definitely your component is going to fail. So it is something, the ratio of design life upon minimum life, that is calculated using the given loading conditions and factor of safety. So all this information can be calculated by using the Ansible bench, and we have two approaches to solve any component for the fatigue analysis, that is stress life, that is SN method, and second is strain life, that is EN method. So let's understand what is meant by stress life or SN method. So this method is very initial method, or we can say traditional one method, and it is least accurate, but it is very easy to implement, therefore it is used in many design processes, and it is particularly for high cycle fatigue, right? And this SN approach is purely based on elastic cyclic loading. So here we are not going to consider any plastic cyclic loading or plastic strains, right? So these are the some advantages of SN methods. Next is strain life or EN method. So this method is used to determine the plastic deformation at localized regions, and it is totally based on this plastic strain instead of elastic. And then this EN method or strain life method is more expensive than SN method, but it is give more reasonable estimation of results. We can say if we are going to bear the computational cost, then we can use this strain life method instead of stress life. But in our case or example, we are going to use this stress life method. And there are three components to a fatigue life analysis. The first is fatigue material properties. So we require generally alternating mean stress or strain life method properties or curves be required in the property menu of this fatigue analysis. Then fatigue analysis and loading options. So we have to do the analysis setting like loading conditions or boundary conditions. Then we have to review the fatigue results. So next slide is about example that we are going to solve using Ansible bench. So here we have plate with 3 holes, and the material of the plate is structured steel. So here is dimension of the plate is, so 50 is the length of the plate, 25 is the width of the plate, and 15 is the thickness of the plate, and we have 3 holes of diameter 3, 5, 10 respectively. So the left face of this plate is having the fixed support, and the right face of the plate having the force of 20 kN. And here we required some output, that is total deformation, equivalent stresses or moment stresses, life of the component in cycle, then damage and factor safety. So this is the example we are going to solve in Ansible bench. So let's start with Ansible bench. So here I have opened this Ansible bench, and I have created the static structural analysis system in Project schematic. So we don't have another analysis system for separate analysis system for fatigue analysis. We have to use this static structural analysis. In that we have fatigue tool. Based on that fatigue tool, we are going to find these results. So here first click on this engineering data. So we have to see what type of property we require for fatigue analysis. So ensure that this structural steel tab is selected, and the property of outline row is visible. And here the row number 12, you will find the strain life parameter. So when you click on the strain life parameter, you will get some chart here, and there is a plastic strain life, total strain life, and elastic strain life. So these three curves showing this strain life parameters, and this is for this structural steel life material. So we have different these parameters or curves for different materials. Then next is SN curves, the strain life curve here. So based on this alternating stress and cycles, we have this graph, and here for vertical axis we have alternating stress, and for horizontal we have cycles. Based on this experimental data, we have created this graph. It is stored in this ANSYS library. So this is meant to parameters or property required for the fatigue analysis. So close this engineering data, and we have to generate this geometry in the design modeler. So I click on geometry and select new design modeler geometry. So this is design modeler. Click on this XY plane, right click and click on this look at to orient the plane. Then click on this sketching mode, and here before that click on these units and ensure that the units in millimeter. Then select rectangular tool from the draw toolbox and create a rectangle. Then apply some constraint here, that is symmetry constraint. Then select vertical axis, then select two sides of the rectangle, then again right click, select new symmetry axis, again select horizontal axis and select these two sides of rectangle. So here we have given the this symmetry. Then we have to do some dimensions here. So this is 50 and this is 25. So go to the details view and give dimensions here 50. Then vertical it is 25, width to 25. So in this way we have created this rectangle. Then we have to create 3 circles. So again click on this draw menu bar, toolbar, and select circle from the draw toolbox. So create a first circle, create a second circle, and create a third circle. You give dimensions or diameter for the circles. So this is a 3 mm, next is 5 mm, and last one is 10 mm. So most of dimensions are random dimensions. So here we have to give another dimensions like the distance from center to the vertical edge side. It is 10 mm. Then again it is also 10 mm. Then again distance between this second and third circle is 15. So in this way we have created the sketch. Then click on the isoball, select this modeling mode and use extrude command. So it is asking for geometry. Select this geometry, apply, and direction is reverse and the depth is 15. So thickness of the plate is 15 and click on generate and hide the sketch. So here our plate with 3 holes is ready. So close this design modeler. So double click on model to give the analysis settings. Here is it should be in mm. So select the third options, mm kg Newton. Then we have to create a mesh. For this I'm going to change this element size is suppose 2 mm and generate the mesh. So in this way our mesh is much better. There are some tetra elements, but it is acceptable because we have different holes here. Therefore to create a uniform mesh we have to create a washer around the hole and we have to perform the mesh again. We have 2 different methods. First is using the regular static sectoral methods. Here we can assign the loading and boundary condition from the static sectoral, and we are going to insert this fatigue tool from these solutions. Or another method is if you click on this view mechanical result, then you will get another window, that is this mechanical application wizard. You can choose wizard from this. Click on this folder and from this you can select this fatigue analysis. When you click on this fatigue analysis, then all the parameters regarding this fatigue analysis will be shown below here. So from the first to last, it will show you which parameter is complete or which is completed and when you click on this in the parameters, then it will guide you how to perform this analysis. So instead of this, I'm going to use this first method. I'm going to close this window. Then here click on the static structural. Then right click on this insert, fix support. The left face, apply. Then again static structural loads, that is force on the right face, apply. Defined by components along x-axis, that is 20 kN, right? Then here click on solution and insert tools, fatigue tools, right? So in the fatigue tools you will see this graph here. Right click on this fatigue tool, insert. First is life, then again right click on this fatigue tool, insert damage, and again right click on this fatigue tool, insert this factor of safety. You can also insert like equivalent alternating stress, but here we want to only see these three values, therefore I have inserted it. Then click on this fatigue tool, you will find number of parameters here. So I'm going to explain this parameter one by one. So here details of fatigue tools. The first in the materials tab, we have one setting is local control is fatigue strain factor. So we have different factors available like size factor or surface finish factor or many more. So if you have this value, you can use this here. So default value is 1. And next is loading. So in the loading, in the types we have different options are available like fully reverse, zero base, ratio, and history data. So for fully reverse, if you're loading having the fully reverse, that means the magnitude of the force is tensile and compressive having the same magnitude. In this case we can use fully reverse. So this diagram will indicating the fully reverse type of loading. Here the maximum and minimum stress amplitude is equal, that is 1.5, and in second option, that is zero base, it is a reverse, we can say, or repeated type of stress we can say here. And if you have this type of loading, we can use this type of options or these options. Then third is ratio. Instead of you have stresses value or loading value, if you have ratio of the two applied forces, in that case we can use this ratio option. Or if you have the loadings value at different times and it has different values, then in that case we can use this history data. So in our simulation, I am going to use this fully reverse. So here from this we can change the type of loading. Then scale factor. So it is nothing but if you want to scale the amplitude of the load, then we can change it by from here. So the default value is 1. That means whatever value we are going to apply in the force condition or loading conditions, that is same value is going to apply on the component. Then next is here in options setting, analysis set type. So here we have two different approaches, that is stress life and strain life. As we already learned what is meant by stress life and what is meant by strain life. So for high fatigue or life, we are going to use stress life. Then mean stress value. So practically for completely reverse type of analysis or type of loading, we have zero mean stress, but in practical it is not, we have mean stress value is 0. So by using this different methods, we can find the mean stress values, right? So Goodman, Soderberg, Gerber, and mean stress curves, these are different methods. By using this we can find the mean stress value. After this, so last is unit names. So unit names default setting is cycles. So from you can change to blocks, seconds, minute, hours, days, and month. So as per your convenience, you can change these unit types. Whatever type unit you want, you can change it from it. Then one cycle is equal to one cycle, right? So this is the settings are found in fatigue tool. So here the important one is type, that is fully reverse, and second is your approach, that is stress leg approach. So click on this life. So here we are going to find the number of cycle of this component. Then it is, after calculating this life, it will show the minimum life of the component in the particular region or most stress region. Then second is damage. So in the damage, so life, the design life is 1 e raised to 9 cycles. So it is very huge cycles we have given this in the benchmark. And then last is factor of safety. So based on this design factor, design life, it will going to calculate the factor of safety. So solve this. For this, right click on this solution and solve. So our solution is ready. Then here click on this life. So minimum life of this component is 22,940 cycles, right? And you can animate this in the animations. Then again click on damage. So here the value of damage is here you can see in the details of damage, the maximum value is 43,593 and it is greater than 1. That means the component is going to fail. Why it is so? Because our design life is 1 e raised to 9 cycles and it is far less than the values, minimum values of the component for the given loading condition. Therefore the value is greater than 1 and component is going to fail. Again see the factor of safety. So it is very less than 1, it is 0.41 in this region. So again these values were again very less. Therefore suppose I am going to insert again new damage here, and for this I am going to change this value to 22 or suppose 20,000 cycles is the design life. So here you will find the change after solving. When you click on this damage, so here design life is 20,000 and your damage value is less than 1. It is 0.87, sorry, and maximum value is 0.87. That means the value of this design factor is less than 1. Therefore for this design life your component is safe. So this is the purpose of this damage, and you are simply find your component is going to damage or not for the given design life, right? So it is ratio of design life to minimum life. So your minimum life should be greater than your design life. Therefore the ratio of this damage will be less than 1 and your component is safe. Again I am going to insert this factor of safety, and here design life is suppose 10,000. So for 10,000 cycle, again insert solve this. For second factor of safety, here the value is 1.27, right? It is more than 1. So in this case it is totally depend on design life. If it was a design life less than your minimum life, that is 22,940, then this value is greater than 1 for damage as well as for factor of safety. Again you can here insert deformation, total deformation, or suppose you can insert stresses like equivalent stresses. So it is also calculated by using this simulation. So total deformation is 0.018 for the given loading, and here loading is completely reverse. That is I have given the setting here. So type is fully reverse. That means whatever the force, that is 20 kN we have applied, that is completely reverse. That means it is tensile and compressive conditions. So it is first it is acting outward, then again it is acting backward. So this is a completely reverse type of loading here. And for this we have calculated different damage and factor of safety here, and the deformation is 0.0818 and equivalent stress is 206. And for given loading conditions we have the stress value 2.206, right? This is all about the fatigue analysis. If you like my video, please subscribe and share. Thank you.